And this Thanksgiving, we're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. Walmart announced that the cost of their standard Thanksgiving meal is 25% lower than just 1 year ago. That's a big deal. According to the USDA, the price of Thanksgiving turkey is down 33% from its Biden-era highs. Potatoes are down 13%. Ham is down 15% compared to last Thanksgiving. So we are down to a level that we haven't seen in a long time.
That's President Trump taking part in the annual turkey pardon at the White House yesterday, giving a pass to turkeys gobble and waddle while pushing his affordability agenda. The American Farm Bureau Association's Thanksgiving dinner survey finds that the average cost for a 10-person dinner this year is $55.18. That's down 5% from last year's cost of just over $58. Joining me now is Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins. Secretary, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Great to see you, Maria. It was a great day at the White House yesterday as Gobble and Waddle got a second chance at life. And, you know, I picked them out. I went to that North Carolina turkey farm last week, and I felt a little bad. There were 6,500 turkeys, and I had to pick two to be pardoned. But it was a great day yesterday, and the president and Mrs. Trump were just wonderful.
Well, the president was having fun with it. I would not have minded had the names been Chuck and Nancy, as well as Gobble and Waddle, but he's so funny, really funny. But look, you've got a good story to tell around Thanksgiving, certainly with the price of dinner down, but there are other things that are certainly bothering some citizens out there in terms of the price of food, and the perception is that, you know, things are not affordable. We had the CEO of Omaha Steaks on the other day. Now, I think that this is a separate situation, but here's what he said, which was pretty scary. Well, listen to this, CEO of Omaha Steaks. How are you going to keep costs down as prices go up?
So there's this concept in the industry called heifer retention, and it's a decision that the rancher and the feedlot operator make to hold back the female animal to build the herd as opposed to send it to market. Now, that's a double-edged sword. We've started to see good signals that that's happening, but that means that the supply is going to continue to shrink as fewer cattle are going to market. So we are headed for what I'm calling, Maria, the $10 a pound reality. By third quarter of 26, families are going to see $10 a pound ground beef in the grocery store. So we're in for a bit of a haul here.
Secretary, that's crazy, $10 a pound for beef.
Well, and listen, I have not met him. Obviously, he is a very impressive, and I actually making a note to myself to get in touch with him. Our numbers are not showing that, and to your point, beef is an outlier. We have the lowest cattle herd in 75 years. This isn't just in America; it's around the world, and there's a lot of reason for that. I mean, the Biden-Harris administration had a war on cattle because they talked about climate change, you know, and cattle. It was crazy, and then we've had a screwworm issue south of the border, so our ports have been closed. Americans eat about 12 to 13 million metric tons of beef every year. We import about 2 billion of that of lean trim, which is the ground beef you're talking about. We have basically effectuated a pretty significant plan on how to rebuild the beef herd and how to bring those costs down for American consumers. So listen, it's not going to be tomorrow. You know, eggs and turkey and all those great things have all already started coming down. Beef will take us a couple of months, but we should be there by next spring, next summer. The president is very focused on two things: the affordability of beef, which is a staple for American families, but also supporting the American rancher. And those are not mutually exclusive, and we're making really good progress.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you for telling us you've got a plan in place for this. I know President Trump talked about that successful phone call with Xi Jinping on Monday. He wrote on Truth Social, "We have done a good and very important deal for our great farmers, and it will only get better," writes the president. "Our relationship with China is extremely strong, and I know China has purchased at least 10 cargoes of soybeans worth $300 million since Tuesday," is what the president said. The U.S. exported more than $24 billion worth of soybeans in 2024, almost $13 billion worth just to China alone. And your department, the Agricultural Department, is promising an aid package to farmers within the next 2 weeks. Secretary, what does that look like? How much is in this package? And tell us about the soybean purchasers and how that helps our farmers.
Absolutely. Well, this president on Liberation Day, Marie, I mean, this was in February earlier this year, sort of sent a shockwave out to the world. And he'd been talking about this for a long time. But he said, listen, America is no longer, American products, American citizens are no longer going to be and bow at the altar of the tariff regimes of other countries around the world. For too long, for decades, that had been the case. And he said no more. So on that day in February, early March, he said, we're going to completely change the game. And that is exactly what he has done. After not one new trade deal under the Biden administration, we went from a trade surplus under Trump 1, an agriculture trade deficit of $50 billion under Biden, now opening these dozens of new trade deals, opening the markets, moving the American product out across the world. It's a longer conversation for another time, but the farm economy has been struggling for a really long time. And what this president has done with all of these new trade deals is open the market for everything, soybeans, et cetera. Now, soybeans you're bringing up, and I'm not sure the American people have ever heard about or talked about soybeans more than in the last year, but this president is so great. He won't let our farmers be used as leverage in these trade wars. And he said, no, China, you made a commitment under China Phase 1 in 2019. We've got to fill that commitment. We're not going to use our soybean farmers as leverage. And yes, just last night we had another $300 million purchased from China. But it goes to the larger goal of President Trump's vision that, listen, China has historically bought 65 to 70% of American soybeans. They are the best beans in the world. But when our farmers in America are so reliant on one purchaser, that is not healthy for anyone. So listen, we're getting the soybeans out right now. These farmers, have the highest soybean prices they've had in more than a year and a half. But the larger point here is we've got these new trade deals. We're going to start selling soybeans to a lot of other countries beginning immediately and into next year.
And I know that your department is actually intending on purchasing up to $30 million worth of American produce from farmers. It includes $15 million in fresh oranges, $10 million in grapefruits, $5 million in mandarins.
That's
Secretary, tell us about that and what your other priorities are in terms of agriculture right now.
Yeah, so that's exactly right, and especially those more the specialty crops and the fruits, et cetera. We use a lot of our purchasing power, moving them through food banks, school lunches, et cetera. Speaking of priorities, I mean, this is what's so great about Bobby Kennedy and the Make America Healthy Again. No one, other than, of course, the American child and the American, as we've had this massive chronic disease issue based on a lot of reasons. But as we move toward making America healthy again, the USDA has immense purchasing power. We spend about $400 million a day across 16 nutrition programs. Now, again, another conversation for another time. We're reforming SNAP. That program is completely out of control. But what we can do is pivot a lot of that money to healthier, locally produced protein like beef and chicken and pork and the fruits you just mentioned. So more coming on that early next year as we begin to shift how we're buying food and really supporting the American farmers. But to your point, the farm economy, we do have a package, a bridge package we're finalizing. I was with Secretary Bessent yesterday over at the Treasury Department, sort of figuring out exactly what that's going to look like as we're getting new data in every day. So that announcement will come next week. Again, it's just a bridge to get us to next year for the president's promise that he wasn't going to leave any of our farmers behind. But we're building that out, finalizing it as we speak, and we'll talk about it more next week.
Is that package expected to take effect immediately, or does that go into effect next year?
So that package, once announced, the way we're moving very quickly at USDA, I think the average time under the Biden USDA was about a year, which is crazy. We'll announce it next week, and then the payments should begin to move out early January. But for the farmers who are figuring out their planting and harvesting for next year, they need that certainty now as their banks are calling. And as I said, it's been a really, really tough few years out in the farmland for our farmers.
Well, they need the clarity for sure. Secretary, it's great to see you. Thanks very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Brooke Rollins joining us. We so appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria. Happy Thanksgiving.
We'll see you soon.